Hey, welcome to another edition of Breaking Protocol from the Razzle Dazzle Show, our ongoing miniseries where we break down key updates and design questions straight from the development of Shade Protocol. These episodes are built around the game's community engagement series Devs Ask You, or DAUs, where Kendall and the team not only show us changing, but invite fans to shape the journey with them. The team is toying with how to bring big cinematic combat movements to the forefront of gameplay, without making them feel too rare or disconnected from player control. In this episode, we'll explore the concept, the inspiration, and how the community weighed in on what makes a satisfying ultimate ability in a Metroidvania. Be sure to follow us and Little Legendary on our socials and YouTube channel, and be sure to join the Shade Protocol Discord server to follow new DAUs, vote in polls, and share your voice directly with the dev team. Links to everything will be in the description down below, and with all that being said, it's Razzle Dazzle time! So it seems like the harmonies themselves are more than just an ultimate screen nuke or whatever. You purposely want there to be a reason why this exists and why it's like within this world. So for bosses, before we dive deeper into like the lore or storytelling stuff in the game, more gameplay mechanic wise, for bosses, will there be specific harmonies that will be better suited for certain bosses, and does that mean that correlates with different weapons / instruments, like, you know, kind of like a rock paper scissors thing?
Yeah, so I mean that's kind of part of where I am working in the game design part of it, of trying to incorporate a little bit of like that Mega Man like weakness system. But the problem we have is, like, you know, of course, Mega Man is a really well-polished game. When you're playing a game like Mega Man and you are, you know, facing, I don't know, like an ice boss, and you have like the flame boss power, you just melt them in like 4 hits, right? We're not going to do that at all, right? So that's not necessarily the weakness style that we want to go for, because, you know, we spent a lot of time making these bosses. But part of what we think of doing, one idea is like the enemy has a health bar. This is all conceptual. We're not 100% sure. But one of the ideas is the boss has a health bar. And then at certain moments of that health bar, there are sections of that health bar that have like a symbol of an instrument. And during that section of health, if you use the harmony of that instrument, then that entire block breaks, right? So you it's not about how much damage or whatnot, is that entire block of health goes away. Something like that, in order to like make it so that there are certain instruments that are more exciting to use for certain fights because they thematically fit what's going on. I'll give you one example without revealing anything, but imagine there's a boss that you're fighting in a place where, you know, it'd be really like, let's say, well, let's use the axe because I think it's a better example that I was going to do. You're fighting a boss in like the top of this beautiful glass tower where you can see the entire world, right? Let's say there's a place like that. That's what we're doing. So we would like you to use the axe harmony at some point, because maybe we make it so that when you hit the background with the axe, all the glass shatters, and then now the arena is like open, right? And you get the sense of like being outside at the same time. But you don't get that if you don't use the harmony, right? So it doesn't matter when you use the harmony, but we want you to kind of incentivize you to use that so that we can show you something cool. Also, remember that harmonies are based on instruments. Instruments have a connection with the musical theme. So if you're fighting a boss that is like all about this guitar thing, then, you know, we might want you to like throw in your guitar, right? So that we can like hype up the moment and do some musical cool stuff, right? So we're not forcing you at all, but we are giving you a benefit for that. That's one example. The other example is that it doesn't work like that. And instead, as in like telling you when to use it, you know, maybe the boss has like a bunch of tiny bars, right? In a straight line, it's like sections of bar, and they have different colors. But maybe instead of that, it's more of a, whenever you use a specific harmony, let's say the spear harmony, from that moment on, for an amount of health bar. So pretty much you put a status on the enemy that shows in his health bar. Let's say the entire health bar is red. So now they get like a, I don't know, like a purple section of their health bar. that tells you for this part of the health bar, they take more damage from your spear
Right.
because you hit them with the spear. Right. So that's one implementation that we're thinking about to incentivize you to, um, if you know that this boss is like really, I don't know, a mid-range boss, and you want to hit them with your chakram, right? Then maybe you use the chakram ultimate, so then you have like a certain amount of health bar that will be easier for you to take away by using chakram to hit them. Um, but because it'll go away fairly quickly because you're hitting them and you hit them for a lot of damage when they're weak in this stage, then you're creating the weakness, not the boss. And I like that. So it's one of those two, the things that we're considering now. We have a bunch of other ideas, but those are pretty good, I would say. The third one that I think people might like, but I think it's really good for Prince of Persia, but I don't know if we could execute it as well. Is like the parry system concept of like the enemy does like a gold attack, and when you parry that gold attack, then you get a harmony. Um, but we can't control which harmony you're gonna get at that point. I mean, we can, but you can't, and I don't know if that's exciting. Um,
Can't
there is a way. There's
control
a game
which
like
harmony you get.
as in like at that moment if you're parrying, right? Because you parry
Mm.
and it's just happening. But uh, there is a game called that I actually saw a VTuber playing the other day. It was what is it? Sagat. Sagat. I can't remember. It's really a beautiful, beautiful game. Um, I can't remember the name of it, but it's gorgeous. It's you're like playing this samurai that has like a demon inside. There's kind of a little bit of very cool concept of the game. But whenever you parry, you get like a menu behind your character that shows you like three little bubbles,
Sure.
and you press a button to pick which one. So we could do something like that, where you get like whenever you parry a special type of attack, you get like a radial that shows you, okay, you're winning, game slowed down, pick one of these three, or one of this, whatever.
Huh.
But, picking seven is going to be real difficult, right? So we might have to say, hey, you get
Seven.
three at random, and I don't know if people like that. Or you might have to equip them, and then I don't know. It's just,
Well, yeah, with this is kind of hard to not follow, but it doesn't make sense in the sense of in the way of like how the base combat works right now is like each instrument's tied to a specific button. Okay. If there is just a shade meter that or a harmony whatever, like there's an ultimate meter, then I would assume you would have to press the button that activates the harmony plus the button that is the instrument or weapon you associated with, and therefore you get that specific harmony, and depending on what level the thing is, that's what it is. That's how I always thought this would go
yeah.
about.
In the
uh
version of you choosing,
yeah,
we have a button that you hold, and you
yeah.
go into that kind of state. And during that state, you press the button that is normally associated with that instrument, and then that's what happens. But it's not like
So kind of Shantae then a little bit. Like there's you press a button, slows down everything, and then you get to pick and decide.
in the version that is like you choose any of them. Yes,
Mm,
in a
mm,
version that is like much more like either the boss is in control or you're reacting, then it's a lot
mm.
less prescribed at that point. And the variance comes from like the encounter. So that's why there's a benefit on simplicity on the one that you don't get to choose, but there's a loss on fantasy, right? And
Right,
then the
and
one that has the fantasy has a loss on simplicity, which it's a lot more inputs for sure. So it's a big
yeah,
challenge.
yeah. Then that's what I was trying to get to. Like for a game where one of your biggest goals is to not restrict the player, to let the player believe that they are a freaking badass and like they can do all these cool things and stuff and not like necessarily slow down during combat. The harmonies bring up this added challenge of like, yeah, how do you go about that while also not being uh too overpowered? Because like what you were saying earlier, if you can have different harmonies and you have different harmonies and you can fill up a meter for each individual instrument, then you can like do 3 harmonies back to back theoretically. Then how does that also go back into like restricting and balancing how often the players can do these super ultimate moves but yet still have that badass feeling?
Yeah, I mean, so we would the limit for us is like a harmony should be something that you can do um on average like every 5 minutes of gameplay,
Oh,
but
wow.
not because we are saying the bar won't fill up in 5 minutes.
Yep.
It's that you even if we have like incredible density of enemies, you won't want to use it,
Mm.
every 5 minutes, right? So the idea is to try to get you to like, okay, if you want to use a harmony every 5 minutes, you could. You're probably, I mean, even me as a player, I'm probably not going to press that button unless I'm in trouble. Like it's not something that I I want to do at all times. But it's such a spectacular button to press, especially if there's like a single snacklet, especially the blue one. I am using that freaking button. I'm axing it.
No,
It's gonna happen.
my
Like it's
boy
gonna get popped, right?
Blue.
So things like that, it's a moment of satisfaction that doesn't cost you anything because you'll get it back, right?
Oh my
But
god.
the main thing is like we also don't want it to, if we're spacing out difficult things every, let's say, every 20 minutes, you are getting to like a mini boss that is not like an actual boss, where it's just somewhere that you just found it. I don't want you to just press this button and it just explodes, right? So what is truly happening is that the the bosses and mini bosses take a lot less damage from harmonies than normal enemies do. Um, and that it's gonna feel okay. It's gonna feel like it still chunks them, but it's not gonna feel like, oh, normal enemies that just die, right? And that's just part of them being mini bosses and bosses. I think that's okay. But when we're looking about how often that in a fight you'll get to do them, then that's where the effect of the harmony matters. So if we are letting you do like 2 harmonies in a boss encounter, right? Or even 3, then they cannot be that powerful, right? Because if not, that's, if they take, 20% of the boss's health bar, then you're pretty much just grinding for, harmony, right? And not as worried about, doing the mechanics right. You're just trying to survive until you get them back. So because harmony will go fill up on its own slowly, um, the incentive should be to fight for it, like to attack and fight enemies to get it, so it will fill up too slowly for you to use it, if you don't fight. So whenever you use it, you'll only get to use one, and then you'll deplete the thing. I don't think we will probably. You had the idea of like maybe like level 1, level 2, level 3.
Yeah.
We probably will not do that, but not that it's not a good idea, but probably because if when you get like level 2 spear, there's probably no incentive of having level 1 spear anymore. So probably like you just level up the harmony and it just pretty much like it's now replaced with the better version. And
Oh,
the other one's
what
gone
I
forever.
meant what I meant was not that you upgrade it to level 2 and it stays permanent level 2. No, I meant like if you use a level 3 harmony, then then it resets back to 0. And then you build it up to level 1, and then if you use it there, you use a level 1 harmony, goes back to 0. Level 2 goes back to 0. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I mean, so I think the that is a good way, and a good simple way of doing that. The way we're thinking about it, at least for now, is
Yeah.
is there's only one level, uh, and as in like, let's say there's 3 levels of the spear harmony. Whenever you gain the level 2, like the improved version, then it replaces the old version forever. The other version's gone, right? You don't have access to it anymore, and now you have like the new version, right? So it's like the um you yeah, you improve the harmony, and that is forever better, right? So whenever you're using the harmony, you just get to use that's the harmony you would use, the new spear harmony. And then the special harmonies are just done by a different input, and then you just get something else, right? Um, But that's kind of like the concept right now. We're not sure if that's the right way of doing it. Maybe like what you're saying is what Prince of Persia did, which was really good. And it
Okay.
plays really well.
Right.
And it's justifiably interesting because it could allow us to do less damage with lower level harmonies. But it also kind of sponsors people using like level 1 harmonies all the time, which is kind
Sure.
of what you do in Prince of Persia. Like you normally don't save that much because bosses, it's not that they die fast, but when you know the fight, they like to like run away from you in a way. Like they just do a lot of stuff that you can't hit them, so you just hit them whenever you can. So it depends. I mean, it's something that we need to design around, but it's a good point. So what it definitely won't be is something that makes the player feel like they're not in control of when it happens. So I want people to be able to control when they do a harmony, but maybe not which one. If that's what ends up having to be the place, but I prefer the current system of like you press a button, well you hold a button and then you press another button and then that's the harmony that you use. That's
Hmm.
what I prefer right now, um, because it lets you do whatever you want to, and then you carry the consequences of that choice, and it feels good, at least for me. So, but we'll see. I mean, there's a lot more that we need to think about, and we probably need to do a couple more DAUs there.
Yeah,
But
yeah.
that's why we do these things, yeah, for sure, to try to evolve that system.
Yeah, and that's the beauty of this mini series where we get to talk to you and go through the process with you of what you guys are doing now in development. It's great. It's fantastic. And yeah, clearly there's a lot of things still up in the air, a lot of things still to be worked on with Harmonies, and I'm very excited to see where it goes. This has been another episode of Breaking Protocol from the Razzle Dazzle Show. Want to help what Shade Protocol becomes? Join the Shade Protocol Discord server to follow new DAUs, vote in polls, and share your voice with the dev team directly. Go follow Shade Protocol on Kickstarter, and if you like this breakdown, check out our past spotlights and interviews with Kendall right here on the Razzle Dazzle Show. Remember, the future of Emeria is still being written.